let us discuss about rules of inference. So basically, in the earlier video, we discussed about what is logical inference, and there is a standard method to see whether the given conclusion is a valid or invalid. Okay. Now, there are few disadvantages with the standard method. So there, suppose in the given premises, if there are more number of premises, let's say the given premises are 2 or 3, then we can easily go for the standard method. But if there are more number of premises, like let's say 5 premises, 6 premises, or 10 premises, and let's say they involve 5 to 10 propositions, then the standard method, we know that when I construct the truth table, I need 2 power n rows, where n represents number of propositions. So basically, if there are maybe 10 propositions, if you go for the standard method, then 2 power 10, that is 1024 rows I need to construct for the truth table. Of course, that's not difficult, but it's definitely a tedious job. So therefore, as an alternative method, we go for the remaining method, that is direct method, indirect method, direct method using CP, and automatic theorem proving. So these are the alternative methods for the standard method. Okay. Now, to work with this direct method and direct method using CP, indirect method, we need to remember, we need to understand and remember these rules of inference. Okay. So let us see one by one. The first one is a law of simplification. Law of simplification. Law of simplification. Law of simplification. So it tells you that if P and Q is a premise, or if P and Q is given as a true, then P is a valid inference. Similarly, another way is if P and Q is a given premise, then Q is a valid inference. Okay. So how it is a valid inference? Let us analyze and understand. So P and Q is premise means what? It is given that P implies P and Q is a true to us as a data point. So if P and Q is true, naturally P is true. So therefore, arguing P is a valid inference, right? Similarly, if P and Q is true, I can also argue Q is true, right? So therefore, Q is also a valid inference. Okay. Second one is law of addition. So law of addition tells you that if P is a premise, then I can always argue P R something is a valid inference. That's something I'm calling as a Q here. Okay. So if P is true, then P R something I can always argue as a valid inference. So therefore, we call this as a law of addition. Addition. That means we are adding some quantity. If P is valid, then P R something is always valid. Then third one, law of modus ponens. If P implies Q is first premise and Q is a second premise, then Q is a valid inference. Okay. Of course, all these inference rules we can cross check with the standard method also. Okay. So get the tautological form and see whether they are tautology or not. In fact, when you see the tautological form for all these rules, they must be the tautologies. Okay. So coming back to the third one, P implies Q, P, therefore Q is a valid inference. Okay. So let's analyze uh, uh, to understand this. Okay. So it is given that P implies Q is true. So P implies Q is premise means what? It is given that it is a true point to us as a data point. Then it is also given that P is true. Okay. So in P implies Q is given as a true, and in that P is true. In that P is true. Then in that case, what must be the value of the Q? It has to be true. It can't be false, right? It has to be true. So therefore, we are arguing Q is a valid point or a valid inference. Okay. So this comes under law of modus ponens. Coming to next, law of modus tollens. So it tells you that if P implies Q is a premise and negation of Q is another premise, then we can always argue negation of P is a valid inference. Negation of P is a valid inference. Okay. So how? Let us analyze this also. So P implies Q is a premise means it is given to that, it is given that P implies Q is true. It is given to us as a data. Then it is also given that negation of Q is true. If negation of Q is true, then what must be Q? Q must be false, right? So please come back to the first premise. So P implies Q is true, P implies Q is true, and in that Q is false. Then what must be P? What must be P? It must be false. P must be false. So therefore we are arguing negation of P is true. Okay. So therefore negation of P is true. So this comes under law of modest tolerance. Okay. Next, fifth rule. Law of disjunctive syllogism. Disjunction means or. Disjunction means or. So fifth one is PRQ is one premise and negation of P is another premise. Then we can always argue Q is a valid inference. Or if PRQ is a premise and negation of Q is another premise, then in that case we can argue P as a valid premise. Okay. Let us verify. Let us verify how it is valid. Okay. Now understand this. It is given that PRQ is a premise, that means PRQ is true. Given that PRQ is true. And it is also given as another premise, negation of P is true. If negation of P is true, what must be P value? It must be false. Okay, now come back to the first one. PRQ is true and in that P is false. So therefore, what must be the value of the Q? PRQ is true and in that P is false. What must be the value of the Q? So Q must be true. So therefore, we are arguing Q is a valid inference. Okay. Similarly, another form, PRQ is given as a true, another form for that disjunctive syllogism. PRQ is true and negation of Q is true. Negation of Q is true means what? Q, what is Q? If negation of Q is true, what is Q? Q must be false. Am I right? Now coming to the first premise, PRQ is true and Q is false. So what must be the P then? So P must be true. So therefore we are arguing P is true, or we are arguing P is a valid inference. Okay, so this is law of disjunctive syllogism. It has two forms. Okay. Now let us see some more rules of inference. Yeah, P implies Q, Q implies R, therefore P implies R. Therefore P implies R. This is the law of transitive. So law of transitive you already aware. A less than B, B less than C, therefore A less than C. Similar lines, P implies Q is given as true, Q implies R. In that case, P implies R is also valid. So if you have any doubt, you please go and check the standard method. So get the tautological form for this. Okay, get the proportional function and construct the truth table. So definitely truth table, you get tautology at the end. So that means this inference must be valid. Okay. Then P is a premise and Q is also given as a premise. In that case, we can always argue P and Q is true. Quite natural, right? If P is true, Q is true, we can always argue P and Q is true. Okay. So this comes under law of conjunction. Next, law of constructive dilemma. So P implies Q and R implies yes. So here, these four are different prepositions. So this is a general formula. When you apply, we can apply Q and R may be the same. Okay, but in general, we are giving the formula. P implies Q and R implies yes is the first premise. P R R the second premise. Therefore, we can argue Q R yes. It's a valid inference. It's a valid argument. Okay. Similarly, law of destructive dilemma. P implies Q and R implies yes. So this premise is same as the first premise in the eighth rule. P implies Q and R implies yes. Negation of Q or negation of yes. Therefore, we are arguing negation of P or negation of R. Okay. So these are the 9 inference rules. So any inference rules, if you have a doubt, we can always cross check with the standard method. Okay. And what is the standard method? Already we have proportional functions. So you get the tautological form or you get the proportional function. Check that there is a tautology or not. So it must be tautology. For all these 9 inference rules, if you see the tautological form, it must be a tautology. Hence, we can conclude all these are valid inferences. So therefore, we are studying these 9 rules as rules of inference or facts of inference. Okay, these are inference. 9 inferences are valid. Okay, So these 9 inferences are really very important, very important to proceed with the logical inference topic, that is direct method using CP, indirect method, and of course automatic theorem. Okay, thank you all.